So now what? You've probably asked yourself that question 100 times because for decades you've been doing what you have to. And now you're wondering, have I actually done enough to do what I want to do? Would you like some help? That's why we're here, to take you from I have to wow, I really get to. I'm Brad Johansson with Omega Wealth Private Capital, and this is Wise Money. Again, so glad you're with us on Wise Money. Brad Johansson alongside Joe Wilson III, Omega Wealth Private Capital, my friend.
Back again.
Let's go.
Back in the saddle.
Because we're moving in a different direction. You know, the direction is forward. That direction is Joe has put together a book called The 5 Agreements to Be and Stay Retirement Ready. We've been teasing it for months saying, hey, I hope the book's done. The book's done. We're there, and it's going to be yours. And Joe's already said, I'll pay for shipping, but we'd love to have you in the office to be able to come through it because this has been a journey. Man, all of our lives are a journey and trying to figure out which path to take. I want to take you back to the beginning of writing this book. No, I want to take you back before the book. Here you are, an author of a book trying to help people be and stay retirement ready. Are you where you thought you'd be? I'm going to take you back to that kid who was coming out of college, who was going through this stuff. You're not?
No. I mean, I think there are kids that are that way. My daughter is in graduate school and is going to go into med school. And as long as I can remember, she's played with a doctor kid and she's wanted to be a doctor. And it's fascinating to see that coming true in her life and just her dedication to that. I was one of those kids that, I didn't know. I was just kind of like, we're going to do something. I want to do it with people. That's what I knew. I wanted to be involved with people. I didn't want to sit in a cubicle. I didn't want to be tucked away. I wanted to have a relationship with people. So I guess in that sense, yeah, I guess I am. But in the truth of the matter, having radio shows and television shows and 2 amazing offices here in the greater Cincinnati area, and we're looking to even expand outside of that. Add all that together, no, this is fun. This is really fun.
But there was a time when you were going into the financial space.
Oh, it's brutal.
You weren't sure you were going to make it.
Well, I don't think any of us are. I mean, it's probably the success rate when it comes to this industry is one of the, other than maybe pro sports, it's brutal. It's really, really challenging. And I apologize if you're around a little older. I probably called your house back before the great financial crisis. Was probably calling you with municipal bonds. I mean, that's how you built your practice back then, and then it led to referrals, and one thing led to another. So yeah, I probably was calling Mr. and Mrs. McGillicuddy about a tax-free muni bond. I guarantee you. All
right, let's talk about the 5 agreements. Then we've got to the book. Why is this so important? What's the basis?
It's 19 years, almost 19 years of me being in this industry. And seeing and having perspective and seeing folks that have done retirement well and other folks that have come to us and they weren't really in the position. I tell the story in a book, and I've told it on set before, but I'll never forget the impact this had. Was a gentleman that we were at an educational shop, I think it was around 2009, and had a great amount of money, about a little over $2 million back then even, but he had amassed into one stock. And it was a bank stock that he knew very well. And he had done extremely well. Just kept buying it and kept buying it over the years. And it evaporated. I mean, I think it was down about $250,000 at that point, and just tears in his eyes of going, what am I going to do? Mid-60s, the retirement plan that they had, that conversation of him coming up to that educational event and go, what do we do? Has stood with me from the test of time, because even though that's extreme, we see folks all the time do everything right and just retire in the wrong year. I mean, go back and look at 1999. Markets were at an all-time high, and I love the markets. I am pro-market. Time in the market will always win. It always will. But when you go to retire, you're taking income out. And I'll never forget starting to see folks, even back when I started in the industry, that maybe retired in 1999 and the 2000, 2001, 2002 hit. horrible years, 3 straight years in the market, almost a 43% decline in the S&P. And they were taking money out, and they're like, I don't have enough runway. I'm going to run out of money. And they went back to work, or they went back to be a consultant. And then we started meeting with them back right before the great financial crisis. That stuck with me. So I built this book to say, hey, here's some things that I've learned that everyday Americans just need to understand, because you're probably sitting there and you've amassed wealth and you go, I've got all this money in a taxable account. What kind of tax debt do I have? It's why we built wisetaxbill.com, so you could quickly, right now, pick up your phone or dial on your computer and get an idea of, here's the tax debt I owe. And then call us and we'll say, here's some things that you could potentially do to help minimize that and be efficient with that. It's why I wrote this book about an income engine. So you never have to be that person that had all your money and just watch it evaporate overnight. So you always have a place to go to get income so you can have the retirement of your dreams. It goes back to just my collection of stories and experiences, meeting people that have done it well and those that unfortunately hadn't, and just kind of putting it back to you so you can kind of get an idea of, here's this money, what do I need to do?
I began the show with this question, so I'll ask you as you're watching. Are you where you thought you'd be back as you were coming out of college, back as you were coming out of high school, back when you had those dreams of, this is what I was going to do? For a lot of us, it's nowhere close. Maybe it's even better. But maybe we're sitting in a spot of uncertainty trying to figure out, yeah, okay, I'm here. Where do I want to go? Well, the 5 Agreements puts that together. It's what we do in the office every day. It's what we do with every single client is, are you secure enough to be able to retire, to get you to where you want to go? The 844-657-1072 is the phone number. You can click the QR code. We'll set up an appointment to put together a retirement readiness review. You know, a lot of people will always say, well, you're trying to sell me something. This review is absolutely free. And for many of you who've been watching, you were shocked that there was no cost with this. So what's the cost of the book if I'd like a copy of the book?
I'm paying for that.
Entirely free. Joe's paying for the entire thing.
People need this.
Postage and shipping too?
Absolutely. You could go on to this little site we have right here and put in some information, and my team will get a book out to you. And I think it'll benefit you and your family, kind of framework some thought processes, because I think a lot of folks right now are just unsure. Where do I go? What do I need to do? This book helps frame that.
844-657-1072. Want a copy of the book? You want to be in the place that you want to be with money to last you to your last breath? Make the call. Click the code. Be right back. I spent a lot of my years in locker rooms with the best of the best, the Bengals locker room, Reds locker room, and then locker rooms around the country with some of the elite athletes. And they gained wealth at the point where they never thought they'd be able to make this kind of money, and they believed it was going to last forever. And for many of them, it would only last a few years. I kind of liken that to a lot of people that we see in the office now who have been doing what they do, and they wanted to amass something that they thought was going to take them into retirement. It was going to last forever. And now suddenly the job's gone and they don't know exactly what to do. That's what we do at Omega Wealth Private Capital, is be able to take your story, your practice, your hard work, and make it feel like it's elite in retirement so you can be and stay retirement ready. Hi, I'm Brad Johansson. We want to make sure that our message is consistent with you. You've got to have 5 agreements to be and stay retirement ready. And if you're missing one of those, there may be a problem in what you're doing to try and make your money last until your last breath. Number 1, we want to create an income engine for you. When you lose your job, you've lost your income. How do we create an income engine so it lasts into and through retirement? We'll couple that with agreement number 2. How are your investments working to make sure that it gets you there? And number 3, have you considered your tax debt? How do we play with that so that more of your money stays in your pocket and doesn't go with the government? Number 4, we want to create asset and capital preservation so that we have a safety net to make sure that not everything is at high risk. And number 5, we want to make sure you have a legacy plan. It lasts for you, and it lasts for the people after you're gone. Let's make the 5 agreements work for you into and through retirement so you can be and stay retirement ready. 5 agreements. Are you where you want to be? This is what we're trying to get to, is to adjust the plan, figure out the path, because it's different than what I thought it was. And life is about adjustments, finding that journey.
It is about adjustments.
Getting to this. You have something you want to
Well, I mean, Buffett always says you need to be greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy. And when you look at where markets are, I think this is a wonderful time if you're getting ready to retire or just retired, because if you have these 5 agreements and you're structured correctly, markets are at a high. There's so many things that are working right now.
You say this all the time. This is the best time to retire I've ever seen.
I do believe that. In my career, it's the best. Why wouldn't it be? Look at where interest rates are, where you can get some safe money and great returns and create an income engine that lasts you to and through. Look at where assets are and where things are positioned. I think going forward, we're in a wonderful market right now for retirement. And a lot of folks probably haven't just taken that step or unsure just because they don't know what to do. I mean, even look, recently we had somebody who's over 59 and a half. I mean, if you're 59 and a half and you've got money in a 401k, or maybe you're just over that, there are options you have right now called an in-service withdrawal, where you could take money out of that 401k, still contribute, still be a part of it, but move that into your own individual retirement account, which opens up the world to so many other investments that could be potentially better for you in what you're trying to do. All of this comes together so you can have the retirement of your dreams. But right now is the opportunity to act, because there's windows that are open, and we've got a wonderful opportunity with taxes where they are to do some tax planning. This is an amazing time. I got a question for you. Yeah. You've been doing this now over a year with me, and it's your second career. You saw so many folks in locker rooms and talking to players and having the perspective of players that made a lot of money. You sat down with folks in our office and folks that have done retirement or getting ready, saving well, and those that are a little bit underneath it. What are some of your biggest takeaways? I mean, as we got time here in this segment, what are you taking away that says, wow, this is what has been amazing? When folks see this and understand this, it changes their retirement plan.
Doesn't matter what the account holds, the story is most important. You've heard me say that from the very beginning, that everybody has the end of their story that they would really like to write, and they're all in a period of uncertainty as to whether or not I can write the story that I want to, because we've always been told we have to have this amount. I've never been elite. Do you guys have a limit for people to come in? Because I haven't done it right. The enjoyment of working through it with all of these people is that everybody's story is so important to them, and you realize that in working through that, and the whole point of this is that nobody wants to give anybody the power of their money if they don't trust them. I want to work with people that I like, because this relationship will last for decades for a lot of these people.
We've got several clients that we've done that with, absolutely.
That will continue, that it isn't just a...
It's not transactional.
It's not transactional.
It better not be, not when it comes to retirement planning.
We're not putting a plan together to say, we'll talk to you in a few years. You're good. We have people... And I want to share this because we say this a bunch of times, that we actually have a golf simulator in the office, and that we will be in meetings and our clients will come in with golf bags and go, is it okay if I hit? Yeah, I'm in a meeting. Go ahead and hit. Hey, is it okay if I stop by afterwards and have a drink with you? I want to talk about something. The relationship becomes, this is your life. This is the most important thing in your life, to get to the end and to be able to give it to somebody else when I'm done, so that my legacy is, I did it right the last time.
I told you from day one, and folks, our culture and what we have, and the culture of Omega Wealth Private Capital, it is different. We say it all the time, we are different by design. We are relationable, and we want relationship with our clients. Not everybody's a fit for us. We're definitely not a fit for everybody else. I mean, if you don't like, of course everybody loves me.
Everybody loves
Joe. If you don't like us on this television show, you're not going to like us in the office. Right. This is who we are. And I still think it's important that we have relationship, and because this is a journey, and this is helping you formulate a plan that if you're in those 60s, you're going to live to your 90s. If you're 70s, that's 20 years. If you're in your 40s and 50s, You've got a long road ahead of you. So there's things you must do now. And we work through that as changes happen, because it is a true plan. And it's not just a sheet of paper that was printed out overnight. I had a friend that worked at a big box firm, and I'm not going to say its name because they advertise like crazy. And I said, where's that financial plan coming from? They put in some data, they sent it off. It's done overseas and sent back the next day. And it's a big stack of papers, and they charge a ton of money for that. What good is that? A lot of times the inflation number is only 2%. It's not even real. The 50-year average of inflation is 3.8. That consequence is 15, 20 years down the road. Your plan is off track because you haven't planned appropriately for inflation, so you're going to run out of money sooner. And that's what's the number one fear of modern retirees? Running out of money. So just from that example, this is not a one and done. We are constantly working together because your goals change, your life changes, the economy changes, grandkids come, they get older, maybe school choices change. All of it works together to create a plan.
Let's put yours together. 844-657-1072. We've been mentioning the book. Randy, if you want to throw the 5 agreements up, Joe has said that he will pay for postage and shipping of the 5 agreements. If you would like to have it, we'd love to give it to you in person. Maybe it takes sending this to your house for you to say, I need to meet with you. 844-657-1072. You can click the QR code if you want a copy of the book because you're afraid to meet, because you're afraid of the decisions that you've made. Stop working on fear. Let's move forward with something with confidence, because we can put the 5 agreements so you can be and stay retirement ready now. 844-657-1072. Call now. Be right back.
At OW Private Capital, we understand that your retirement plan isn't just a set of numbers. It's the culmination of a lifetime of hard work, sacrifice, and dedication. Led by our founder and CEO, Joe Wilson, a seasoned financial advisor with nearly 2 decades of experience, he spent years inside large regional firms, and Joe saw the need for something different, plain-spoken advice. No Wall Street jargon. Now at OW Private Capital, our mission is built on the 5 agreements to provide the confidence that you need to be and stay retirement ready. Our team will take a comprehensive assessment of your goals and craft a flexible strategy to do what you have to do today so that you can do what you want to do tomorrow. From creating an income engine to maximizing tax efficiency, we help you create a legacy that lasts. Reach out to OW Private Capital. Let's put together a plan so that you can be and stay retirement ready.
This is Wise Money in 60. My name is Cynthia DeFazio with Joe Wilson. Joe, Mind the Gap.
Mind the Gap, 1960s over in London, England. The underground started. What they did is they planted this big yellow line in words over Mind the Gap. Why? People were leaving this firm foundation, stepping on a train and falling through the gap. Think about the modern retiree. Firm foundation of income, stepping on a retirement train, taking them to their destination, but many times there's an income gap. People are taking their Social Security, but they haven't done the proper planning of the necessities they need in life and what that's going to cost. It's why every modern retiree needs an income gap, because you have to mind the gap in retirement so you can be and stay retirement ready.
That's why you have to mind the gap. This is Wise Money in 60.
I like Cynthia being on Wise Money in 60. You know, we haven't done Jargon Slayer in a little while, too.
We need to do that.
We need to slay some jargon. We try to keep it simple for you.
We hate jargon.
657-1072. You can hear us on 700 WLW.
The big one.
Independent financial advisors is what we're doing all across the country, because we're doing a national program as well. So you watch us on Wise Money here. You can watch Joe, and I host the Wealth Council, which is a national financial show that's on Fox Business every Sunday at 2 p.m. if you haven't caught us. The message is we do it differently. You always say different by design, and we do it differently because we do it individually. It is not a cookie-cutter process. This is what we do to mind the gap, because income is the outcome. You say it all the time.
It is 2 different worlds. There's accumulation years where you've been saving and working. And I would position and submit to you that sometimes these pullbacks in the market in the accumulation years actually benefit you, Think about it. You're saving every 2 weeks, and if the market's down 20%, what are you doing? You're buying
On sale.
on sale. As you get ready to go to retirement, and when you look at where markets are right now, and maybe you're getting ready to hit that retirement threshold, or you just have recently, you are now entering a very different phase, the distribution phase. And so as long as markets are going up, this is fantastic. But if you don't plan accordingly and have a place to go to get money, income, because you no longer have a job, that when the market pulls down, the last thing you want to be doing is selling that at a lower cost. You want to buy low and sell high, not buy high and sell low. That gets so many folks in trouble if they continue to manage their money the same way that they have for the last 20, 30 years while they're accumulating. We do it differently by understanding, one, what phase are you in? Two, how do we create an income plan with the least amount of money possible? So you've got your necessities and lifestyle covered, and then that allows the remaining of that money to grow in a tax-efficient account to maximize future growth going forward. So you have more options and travel and trips and things you want to do. We give every dollar a specific job. If you're managing it all in one bucket, nay. You're opening yourself to hidden risk. We talk about that in the book.
I mentioned Jargon Slayer again because this is one we did with risk tolerance and risk capacity, because everybody hears about risk tolerance, and what we do is change into, okay, it's fine, that's feeling test.
It drives me crazy, risk tolerance. This was something that was brought up by Wall Street just to kind of have a checklist. Are you conservative? Are you moderate? Are you aggressive? What does that mean? And so we were at an educational event at Thomas More College, and I asked a room there, about 45 people, I said, how many in here feel that you're a conservative investor? And so many hands went up. And how many are aggressive? So many hands went up. And moderate, so many hands. I'm asking one, I said, you're conservative. What's a good rate of return for you? And that person said 7%. Okay. The next person next to him said, oh, I'm conservative. I think 2%. Well, who's right? Is it 7 or is it 2?
It's
arbitrary. And so what we do, and that is so different, is we go, what capacity of risk can you handle? If you look at what you've saved and what you've amassed, how much volatility can you handle and still get the income that you need to cover your necessities and lifestyles? Because the last thing you want to do in retirement is get a pay cut. Did you like a pay cut when you were working? I rather think you did not. Why does it have to be different in retirement? So we start creating plans that say, we've got money to cover our necessities and lifestyle that is going to be stable and there regardless of what happens in the market. Then we start segmenting money that's going to be growing and being tax efficient. Then we start setting money aside for longevity risk and cost of healthcare down the road. And then we set money aside for we give every dollar a job. That way, regardless if the market's in favor or out of favor, we can keep our plan on track.
You got a call right now. We're going to go real quick. I want to talk about legislative risk. 844-657-1072.
Oh, you're going to hit me with that.
I'm going to close talking about
one.
the 5 agreements. We'll be right back.
After being in this industry for almost 2 decades, I can tell you one of the largest areas the modern retirees tend to underestimate is legislative risk. You have to control what you can control, and that is an effective financial plan that is complete and holistic, that understands where you're going to get your income, where you're going to get the growth. Have you hedged the risk of longevity, making sure you don't run out of money? And how have you had asset preservation that if healthcare needs come your way, that you have enough money to take care of you or your spouse through those later years? Get a sound income plan adjusted for taxes and inflation that protects you and your assets regardless of what's happening in Washington, D.C. Click the link below to schedule your own personalized time with one of our amazing fiduciaries so you can be and stay retirement ready.
As always, so glad you're with us on Why is Money. Brad Johansson with Joe Wilson. We're talking about the book that Joe has produced that we've been talking about for a long time, The 5 Agreements to Be and Stay Retirement Ready. Best way to get it is to come in, but you're saying you're going to send it out to them?
Yeah, you're sitting on your couch, take a picture of that, the QR code, and fill out just some basic information. And my team will get that out to you. We're happy to get it to you. It's a short, easy read. It's not War and Peace. And I promise you, it has a little Jolly Joe personality in there, so it's not terribly boring.
Nothing about you is boring. The thing that we work for is to try and create an individual plan for each of you. I'm going to ask a simple question, Joe, for people who are looking at this and want the book, want to figure it out, want to come into it. How do I know I'm ready to retire? Is there a simple answer to that?
Simple answer is number one, you have to have a cash withdrawal plan. that you know you can get the income to cover what you need, your necessities and lifestyle. You have to have that.
But it's not just necessities.
And your lifestyle, it's what you're wanting to do and what you're wanting to go through in life. Because number one, you have to take care of that. Because if you're letting that be a variable and you're not taking aside this money you've worked 20, 30, 40 years for and just hoping that you've got enough of that to last, adjusted for inflation, adjusted for taxes with legislative risk that's always there looming, you are gambling what could happen 20 years down the road. A lot of folks can handle the setback in the next 2, 3, or 4 years. It's what that impact does because the market's down and you want to keep your level of income, meaning you have to pull out more, which causes your taxes to potentially go up, which could cause your Medicare premiums to potentially go up. You add all that in together and it's going to have a major effect on you 10, 15 years down the road. People don't understand that. It is like a prescription. There's a cause and effect. We try to segment that out and position assets to cover that. Number one, you have to have it. Number two, not understanding tax debt. If you have money in a 401k, a 403b, an IRA, a 457, something you've put money into.
All right, this is time for Wise Tax Bill. Throw a Wise Tax Bill up.
I agree, because this is a way for you to have a clear understanding of the potential debt you are sitting on. Because at the age of currently, right now, if it's 73, you have to take a required minimum distribution. And it's going to be moving to the age of 75. If you're in your late 50s or 60s, that is a long runway of compound growth that you're going to have to still pay a tax on. And truth is, you don't know what that tax bill is going to be. Why? Legislation can change. You got to have an idea of that. Take out your phone, pull up that QR code, fill out some basic information, change the toggle. You want a 5% rate of return, a 10% rate of return? What tax bracket do you want to plan for? Adjust it. And that's going to print out a real quick idea of, hey, here's if you don't do anything, what you're going to owe if you live to the age of 90, and if you pass it on to the next generation for 10 years, or some steps you can do right now. It's knowledge. It's understanding your debt. You have worked your entire life. Many of you have saved $1 million, $1.5 million, $850,000. We had someone the other day, $3.5 million. It's not all your money if it's saved in the wrong bucket. You need a plan, and that's what we do. Comprehensive wealth planning to help you be and stay retirement ready. I thank you for watching. Get the book, fill out the QR code. We'll see you in the office soon.
From tax time bombs to Social Security insecurities, strategic investments that help clean up your junk drawer and keep your income engine running smoothly at Omega Wealth Private Capital. We're fiduciary, independent, holistic wealth advisors, and we're here to turn your have-tos into get-tos. So, would you like your retirement dreams to move from good to great? Give us a call. It's what we do because we really want to. Thanks so much for joining us. Hope to see you in the office. Until then, I'm Brad Johansson. We'll see you next time on Wise Money.